Hi, I'm Kelly and welcome to the Everyday Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to roll out pie crust. People really are afraid of pie crust and I really want to tell you that you shouldn't be. I want to show you my technique to take the fear out of rolling out pie crust. Start with a well-floured surface. It is much easier to brush off flour if you have excess than it is to deal with a pie crust that got stuck to your work surface. So don't be afraid to liberally flour the surface, both underneath and on the top. When I roll out pie crust, I really pay attention to the consistency that it is. What you're looking for is that when you press in on the dough, it gives a little bit, but not so much that it's like really soft. If it's too soft, it's going to almost fall apart. Like it would bend when you are holding it. If your pie dough is a little bit stiff, you can hit it with the rolling pin to get it softened up and help it go in the direction you want to go. And then start your rolling. Even pressure. You can constantly shift the pie dough. That serves two purposes. Number one, it's going to help keep that circular shape. And number two, it also ensures that you're not sticking. If you move it and it's stuck, you want to deal with that. If your pie dough does get stuck, it's helpful to have this bench scraper. This is like a $5 tool. If you are into baking, I highly recommend that you get this tool. Say this is stuck, you would just use this and lift it off. However, it would be stuck. So it's going to save your pie dough versus if you didn't have this and you were just trying to pull it off, it could rip, it could crack. So this is really useful for any type of pastry. Notice how I am rolling forward, but I'm stopping short of the edge of the pie. And that's to keep it as a pretty similar thickness. If you went all the way down, it might smush down the edge of the pie. If at any point your pie dough is cracking, you can push it back together. If it's really breaking apart, you can smush it back together, but don't stress if your pie dough starts to crack around the edges. Keep going. I'm gonna switch rolling pins now for the straight dowel, and that's gonna help me get to the thickness that I want, which is around 1/4 of an inch to 1/8 of an inch, depending on what you are using the pastry for. Once it has almost rolled out to the size that you want it to be, you can start to roll on the edges, just lightly. This will also help any cracking pieces come together. For most 9-inch pies that you're going to make, you want to roll out the crust to around 11 to 12 inches. The easiest way to know if you've rolled it out enough is to just use your pie plate and place it over the top. You want like about 1 inch going all around, and I think that this is a pretty good size. You can leave the edges irregular, such as this. You can leave the edges irregular, or you can use a pastry wheel to clean them up. It just depends on what you want your pie to look like. So we have our rolled out pie dough. Don't fear getting it from the work surface to the pie plate. First thing you want to do is brush off any of the excess flour, either with a pastry brush, or you can just brush it off with your hands, both sides. There are a few techniques to get your rolled out pie crust into your pie tin. I'm going to show you two that I find to be the most useful. One is just by folding over. This technique works if your pie dough is pretty stable and it was made properly. So that's one way. The other way to do it, and it's the way that I usually use, is I roll it up on the rolling pin. Pick it up and then lay it down in your pie plate. And you can adjust it after that. I hope you found that helpful. If you are looking for a pie crust recipe, I have a great tutorial on my website, everydaypie.com, with step-by-step photos, all my best advice, and the full recipe.